Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us over your lunch hour today for another one of our West webinars. My name is Lola Adebogan, and I am West Marketing and Admin Assistant. Today, we have Chantel Scheinbein, who is a workplace wellness specialist at Connexus Credit Union. If you have any questions for Chantel as we go through the presentation, please submit them to the Q&A box, not the regular chat box. However, do feel free to use the regular chat box to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your business. And as always, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing. You'll receive an email tomorrow at this time with a link to the recording. With that, I'll now pass it over to you, Chantal, to now begin the presentation.
Well, thank you so very much, and really appreciate everyone joining me today. So I think I have to share my screen. Is that right, Lola?
Yeah.
So they can see my presentation? Okay. So we'll just go into here. And everybody's seeing that now? Can you just confirm that, Lola?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Okay. So just again, really want to welcome everybody this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. And I also want to thank Wesk for allowing me the opportunity to spend some time with you today. As Lola had shared, my name is Chantal Scheinbein, and I'm the Workplace Wellness Specialist with Connexus Credit Union. I've worked in human resources for the past 25 years and have been with Connexus for 11. Over the previous 6 years, I've had the opportunity to do really what I'm most passionate about, which is supporting employees who are struggling in their wellness, and also ensuring we have programs in place to support, proactively support our employees at Connexus. So just take a minute to share a little bit about Connexus in case you're not familiar. Connexus is Saskatchewan's largest credit union, and we have 30 branches and over 900 employees across our province. Our first responsibility is our members' financial well-being, and really it drives everything that we do. We're passionate about exploring the conversations and solutions that provide a meaningful difference to all of our members and their families. And then just a fun fact about me before we get started. My favorite quote is one from Will Smith's grandmother. She says that if you're not doing something to benefit the lives of others, you're wasting your time. And I love this quote because I think it's something that each and every one of us can use in our careers and what we do. And really my hope today is that each one of you will take at least one thing away that will positively impact you in the days ahead. So, so we're just going to, in our time together today, I want to share some information that will help you to have a better understanding of really what mental health is, how it ties to our self-care and why it's important. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the impacts the pandemic has had on many of us, and things to consider as the world opens up and we return to our new normal. And then we're going to move into some tips and tricks on things that we can all do to care for ourselves in the days ahead. So again, Lola had mentioned the chat box. So I really welcome and encourage you to join into the chat, to share thoughts, ask questions, and just participate in the presentation. So when I was asked to do this presentation, then I knew that I was going to be meeting with women entrepreneurs. I thought back to really early in my career when I too was an entrepreneur. And I remembered how exciting it was to have my own business but I also remember some of the difficulties that come with working for yourself. So as an entrepreneur, you likely have to deal with unusual working hours, have time pressures, maybe have concerns about the success of your business. The money coming in may be irregular, cause some financial stress, or maybe you have limited interactions with others pending the line of business that you're in. So with all the stressors that come with being an entrepreneur, it can be really easy to overlook the importance of checking in with self and committing to a regular self-care routine. But what I want to tell you today is you're not alone. This really happens to many of us when we're so centered on getting the job done that we really forget to take care of ourselves. And in saying that, it's also important to be aware of the impact that this has. So how we start and end our days and what we do in between really has an effect on how we present ourselves in life and in business. So the good news is there are easy and effective ways that we can care for ourselves, and it is possible to achieve our goals and develop a company while we still enhance our health and overall well-being. So we're going to start out with mental health. And the reason that I want to start here is I think it's really important that we understand what mental health is and that we all have mental health. Mental health sometimes gets confused with mental illness, and really they're two very different things. So again, mental health is something that we all have, and there are times where our mental health will be flourishing, and there are times where our mental health may be struggling. And really, the reason for that is because life happens, right? Life's a little bit like a roller coaster where things can be moving along really smoothly for a period of time, and then something happens that will cause us to be concerned, cause us some stress. But the important thing is that that we're able to recognize when those things are happening to us and that we not get stuck. So let's just take a look at the definition of mental health. This comes from Canadian Mental Health Association. So what they say is mental health refers to our emotional and our psychological state, our social well-being, and how we feel about ourselves and interact with others. Being mentally healthy is influenced by our life experiences, our relationships, our physical health, and our environment. So just as you may experience physical problems over the course of your life, you might also experience emotional or mental health problems that affect your thinking, mood, and behaviors. Being mentally healthy helps you to feel confident in your worth and abilities, accept your strength and your weaknesses, set realistic goals, and create a sense of meaning and purpose in your life. So this is why mental health is important and that we understand it and have a focus on it. So in late 2018, WCB had done a review of psychological health claims in Saskatchewan. And although, they hadn't seen a large increase in claims, they did have concern in regards to support available for all Saskatchewan employees. And so what they did was they signed a partnership agreement with the University of Fredericton. And what they agreed to was that they would offer psychological health training to all Saskatchewan employees for a reduced and reasonable cost. And these resources include training that's available on WorkSafe Sask website. So if you go on there, the courses are available to any and all for minimal cost. So what we're looking at today is on the screen is called the Mental Health Continuum module. And you will learn about this in two of the courses that are offered. One is called, it's a basic course, and it's called Enhancing Workplace Resiliency. And at Connexus, we offer this course to all of our employees. So anyone can take this course. And when you take it, you have access to it forever. You can share it, with your family or refer back to it if you need to. And then there is a second course called Managing Psychological Health Issues at Work. And we offer that course to all of our people leaders. Cost for that course is $155. So again, a little bit more than the Enhancing Resiliency at 30, but extremely reasonable cost for leader training around mental health. Both are good, but if finances allow, I would encourage you to do the leader course. And the reason is if you're a people leader, really great information to know. And if you're not a people leader, it's just really good information if you need to help support family or friends through a difficult time. So in the training, again, you learn about the mental health continuum module, which is what we're looking at today. And it offers some general indicators that you can use to increase your self-awareness and then explore strategies to better manage your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So let's just quickly take a look at, we won't go through them all. You can do that later. But let's have a look at the mental health on the dashboard. And so really green is optimal state where you are flourishing and things are going well in your life. And so if that's the case, you really have mental clarity, you're focused, you're able to concentrate, you're creative at problem solving, and you see solutions to things. If you are in a state of some stress or reacting, you're moving into the yellow. And in that area, you may find that you are easily distracted. Maybe you worry more about things, procrastinate on getting things done, or you avoid doing things. And you see things more as obstacles than solutions. If you're moving into the orange stage, that's really injured or burnt out stage. So this is where you want to start seeking some medical attention or working with a counselor. And in this stage, you might find that you are preoccupied. You don't have the ability to concentrate like you normally do. Your decision making is low. Memory loss is a key. You may focus more on problems and tend to see the negative in things rather than the positive. So very important that you start seeking some help in this area. And then if you move into the red, this is really the illness, mental illness, depression, and you definitely want to be working with specialists. Your judgment will be impaired. Your decision making is paralyzed, concentration, you just don't have the ability to think and to process. And hopefully not, but this is times where people may have suicidal thoughts. So definitely need support. So that's just kind of what you see as you float through in the mental health stage. So when I took this training, what I find the biggest thing for me was that I became more self-aware. I was able to recognize in myself when I was starting to move from a green state into a yellow or orange state. And then I quickly realized that I needed to introduce some things into my life that would help me to bring me back into that green state again. So if you are a people leader, often leaders will come to me with concerns in regards to an employee's behavior. It may be that their attendance is not what it should be. It may be that they're starting to make errors in their work. They don't have the ability to make decisions. So normally the first thing that I'll ask a leader is, are these behaviors new? Or are they behaviors that that this is how the employee normally shows up? Because if they are new behaviors that are recognized, it's quite possible that the employee is struggling in their mental health. And so we want to make sure that we're having conversations to share the things that we're recognizing, and also make sure that the employee is aware of support and tools that are available to help them to be well. So oftentimes, when we're moving through some of these stages, we don't recognize in self, and it really takes somebody else to come to us to say, hey, I'm concerned. Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do to help? So again, this training is really, really good. I encourage you to take it. And it's going to help us as we move forward with self-care and more in our presentation. So now I just want to talk about stress. So quite often, we're feeling heavy, there's things going on in our life, and we say, oh man, I am so stressed. The important thing for us to understand is that stress can actually be a good thing. And it's really understanding how much stress, and for what period of time before it becomes too much and starts to move us to that ill stage. So again, through your work, leading people, we want to make sure that we have enough things on our plate that keep us at an optimal level without pushing us over the top of the hill. So just to share an example with you, many of us work from home during the pandemic, and say we had a busy weekend, Monday morning comes, we're feeling tired, we hit our snooze button a couple times, we finally roll out of bed, brush our teeth, grab a coffee, and head into our home office. We don't have any meetings that day, no deadlines that are due. And so, we maybe start going through a few emails, then we reach out to some coworkers or friends to find out what they did on the weekend, and then just kind of spend the rest of the day doing some easy tasks. So if you have days like this, you will be sitting in the calm stage. And really, this is not where we want to be. You're really unproductive, feeling kind of blah. So the next day you decide you're going to show up differently. So you get out of bed when that alarm goes off, have a shower, get yourself ready, maybe go out for a short walk, come back, have some breakfast, head into your office. You've got some meetings scheduled, you've got some deadlines to meet. So you sit down and get to work and have a really good day. You're feeling great at the end of the day. So this is your optimal performance level. You're feeling energized, you're focused, and your work really feels effortless. It's rewarding. That's where we want to stay. But over time, maybe more work continues to come at us. We aren't saying no when we know that we're going to have a difficult time meeting those deadlines. Maybe we don't understand some of the things that are being asked of us, but we don't question it. Some things start happening in our family that, are difficult to deal with, and it just kind of starts to pile on. This is where we're going over the top of that curve, and we're moving into exhaustion, ill health. Often chronic illnesses will come up when we are moving into this stress level. And eventually you will break down or burn out. So again, if you think back to the mental health continuum module, If you're able to recognize when you're moving over the top of that hill and introduce things into your life to bring you back to that optimal state, then it's just such a bonus. Or you have people in your life who, are open to sharing with you the concern that they're seeing. So that's stress and good stress. So we're going to move over to the pandemic now, because we know that the pandemic caused each of us, I think, a little bit of stress. So early in the pandemic, I think many of us were feeling grief and a sense of loss, because so many things that we could do were all of a sudden taken away from us. We weren't able to celebrate events, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries like we used to, Christmas celebrations, things like that, didn't happen. If somebody, that we loved had passed away, we weren't able to gather with family and friends and grieve together. So there was just so much taken away from us that we were all just really in a feeling of grief. And then about a year later, in the spring of 2021, psychologists continued to follow, the mental health of individuals. And really what they then referred to what many of us were feeling was called languishing. And so Adam Grant wrote an article that was published in the New York Times. And it's called, there's a name for the blah you're feeling. It's called languishing. And if you haven't read that article, Lola is going to share a copy of that with you so that you have it. It's a really great article, so I'd encourage you to read it. And really, if you think back to the mental health continuum module, languishing is really kind of the void between thriving and depression, or green and red. It's really the absence of well-being. So you don't have symptoms of mental illness, but you're not the picture of mental health either. Languishing dulls your motivation and really disrupts your ability to focus and increases the odds that you're going to be less productive at work. The good news about this is when you're able to name what you're feeling and understand what's happening to you, it's so much more easier to seek help and move yourself back into that green, thriving stage. So that's why I encourage you to read the article, just to say, does this resonate with me? And if it does, what do I need to do to take action to be well as the world opens and we're all going back to the workplace? So very similar to if you have, say you're just not feeling well, you have an illness, you don't know what it is, it's just making you feel awful. So you finally go to the doctor. And the doctor runs some tests and maybe they diagnose you as having high blood pressure. So they'll talk to you about incorporating physical activity into your life, maybe changing some of your eating habits, and prescribe a medication. So you go home and you start to do these things, and over time you start to feel better. So mental health is really the same thing. It's understanding, why am I feeling this way? Naming it, and then doing the things that are going to help you to be well. So just for a minute, I would like for you to imagine yourself sitting in your kitchen, and one of your kitchen drawers is open. And what that drawer is representing is the languishing or the emptiness that you might be feeling because of the pandemic. So now think about other areas in your life that may not be flourishing. So it may be financial struggles, it could be work demands, maybe an illness that you're dealing with, caring for a loved one, or maybe something's going on with a child that's causing some concern. So as these things happen in your life, other drawers in your kitchen start to fly open. So the important thing is that we're able to recognize when these drawers are opening, and that we only have the number of drawers open that we're able to manage, control, and remain well. So, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a visual about all these drawers, opening and closing, because that's life, right? But it's the closing them that's important before they're all open and you're overwhelmed. And before we move on, I just want to share my thoughts about what we can each do to support the wellness of our employees and customers as again, we open up and return to a new norm. So it's just really important that we remember everyone is at different stages in this journey. And as business owners, I think that one of the most important things that we can do is to be respectful of the safety practices that each person chooses to follow. What we're doing at Connexus is ensuring that both members and employees are aware that if they want to continue to wear masks, because it makes them feel more comfortable, that we encourage them to do so. Early in the pandemic, masks were really not encouraged, but I think they're far more acceptable now. And so we just want to make sure everybody knows, if that helps you to feel well, please wear one. We're making sure that we continue with hand sanitizer being available for all of our employees and our members to use. And in our retail locations, we have left the floor markers and the plexiglass up so that those who wish to continue with physical distancing have the ability to do that. So the other thing, I guess, is, when our employees may be visiting customers, members in their homes, we do ask that they first reach out to that member to ask if they prefer that masks be worn, because we want to be respectful, of what helps them to feel comfortable. And also, if we're visiting other businesses, to first reach out to that business to see if there are any safety practices in place that we need to be aware of before showing up. So again, depending on the line of business that you have, I think just always asking the questions is the right thing to do. And although this has been an extremely trying time for all of us, I really feel that some positives have also come out of this pandemic. I think many of us have learned how to work differently, and that we can be successful in that. We've all slowed down just a little bit. I know the world was moving extremely fast prior to the pandemic. I think it allowed us to spend quality time with our families. And I think each of us has learned really how resilient that we can be. So, I would love for you to share in the chat if there are some things, some positives that you took from this pandemic. That I think it's just always good to share some positive things. So go ahead and just share in the chat what the good things were that happened to you through this time. And then, as you're doing that, I just want to share with you, I'm not sure if anybody follows Dr. Robin Hanley Defoe. I saw her speak a couple times now, and she's recently written a book called Calm Within the Storm. And she speaks a lot on resiliency. And, as she was growing up, her mom often told her, Robin, you can do hard things. And, she uses that as a go-to when she's in difficult times. And I love that. And I too have taken that little saying on where, if I'm finding myself in a tough time, I just remind myself that, I can do hard things and I am going to get through this. So really out of change comes opportunity for growth. So we have to embrace it and make the best out of it. So, okay. So At Connexus, we use this overall wellness wheel to remind employees that there are 5 different areas of wellness that we need to pay attention to. And really, that having good mental health means that our physical, emotional, financial, social, and career wellness are really all in a good place. And what I've recognized in working with individuals is that when someone is struggling in one of these areas, that quite often it will flow into other of the areas. So just for an example, say that you have a tight deadline that you need to meet. You're feeling nervous about your ability to deliver a quality product in the timelines that you've been provided. So you're going to get that, that tenseness, that feeling of anxiety. Are you up to this? You're probably putting in extra hours working on this to get it done. So there's going to be impact to your social wellness because you're not spending time with your family and friends. And possibly also your physical wellness because, you're not taking the time to eat proper meals, get outside and get some fresh air, take a walk. So very quickly moves, from one to the other. So again, the quicker that we can recognize what's going on, do some things to be okay, the less impact that it's going to have on our overall wellness. So we're just going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into each of these, and then we're going to create our self-care plans. So physical wellness is really having the ability to maintain a healthy quality of life that allows us to get through our daily activities without undue fatigue or physical stress. It's about being able to recognize that our behaviors have an impact on our wellness and adopting healthy habits while avoiding destructive habits. Physical wellness is about developing personal responsibility for your own health care, such as caring for minor illnesses and knowing when professional medical attention is needed. And developing your physical wellness will actually empower you to be able to monitor your own vital signs and understand your body's warning signs. And then you also understand the relationship between good nutrition and how your body performs. It's kind of like putting the wrong gas in your gas tank and your vehicle is not running as it should, right? Also, the physical benefits of looking good and feeling terrific also lead to psychological benefits of enhanced self-esteem, self-control, determination, and a sense of direction. So if we ask ourselves the questions, do you know the important health numbers like cholesterol, weight, blood pressure, sugar levels? Do you get annual physical exams? Do you get sufficient amount of sleep? And do you have an established exercise routine that you're committed to? And if you think that you could do some work to make this better, then just on a piece of paper, just jot down physical wellness. Okay, emotional wellness is the ability to understand ourselves and cope with the challenges that life can bring. It's really the ability to acknowledge and share feelings of anger, fear, sadness, or stress, hope, love, joy, and happiness, all in a productive manner. Being emotionally well is more than just handling stress. It also involves being attentive to your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, whether positive or negative. Emotional wellness is the ability to be aware of and accept our feelings rather than deny them. We have an optimistic approach to life and enjoy life despite its occasional disappointments and setbacks. So, are you able to maintain balance of work, family, friends, and other obligations? Do you have ways to reduce stress in your life? Are you able to make decisions with minimal stress and worry? And are you able to set priorities? So if there's areas there that you think that you could improve on, then just write down emotional wellness. Financial wellness is really an ongoing process and combination of increasing awareness of your current financial state strengthening your knowledge of financial literacy, making well-informed decisions, and taking intentional and mindful steps towards achieving a healthy financial well-being. It's about keeping spending within one's means, being financially prepared for emergencies, having access to information and tools necessary to make good financial decisions, and having a plan for the future. Oh, sorry, I got crazy there. We'll go back here. So personal finances can be a stressful area to manage, but really with the right tools, resources, and education, you can learn how to manage your finances and improve your overall financial well-being. So do you feel that you're able to talk to your financial advisor about what's important to you? Do you have the knowledge and the capability to reach your personal goals? Do you have the financial resilience to handle the unexpected, both good and bad? And are you satisfied with your ability to make informed financial choices? If not, then write down financial wellness. Social wellness. So social wellness is about nurturing ourselves, others, and our relationships. Having a supportive social network allows you to develop assertive skills and become comfortable with who you are in social situations. Having good social wellness is also critical to building emotional resilience. So people who have healthy relationships and a strong social network also tend to live longer and respond better to stress. So this is an important area. So ask yourself, do I plan time to be with my family and friends? Do I enjoy the time I spend with others? Are my relationships with others positive and rewarding? And do I explore diversity by interacting with people of other cultures, backgrounds, and beliefs? Again, if this is an area where you'd like to improve, just write down social wellness. And the last one is career. So because what we do for a living encompasses so much of our time, it's important for our overall well-being to do what we love and love what we do. When people are doing what they were meant to do, they deepen their sense of meaning and purpose. Career wellness recognizes personal satisfaction and enrichment in one's life through work. Traveling a path towards your career wellness, you'll contribute your unique gifts, skills, and talents to work that is both personally meaningful and rewarding. You'll convey your values through your involvement in activities that are gratifying for you. So if you're aligned with your passion and dreams at work, you'll have good energy throughout the day and will really be in that optimal performance range. So does the work that you do bring you joy? I hope so. Do you have manageable workload? Do you feel that you can talk to your colleagues or your family when problems arise? And do you seek personal growth by learning new skills? So if you do want to make some changes in your career wellness, just write that down. Okay, so now that we understand overall wellness and some of the areas that we may want to spend some time working on, we're going to start building out self-care plans. So this is really 7 steps to help you create a self-care plan. And the first thing that you want to do is just grab a paper and pen, and then think about what it is that you value or what's important to you, and write those things down on a paper. And I know that this is going to take some time, so as some things come to your mind quickly, please go ahead and jot those down. And otherwise, you can spend more time working on this later. So once you have the things that are important to you written down, then I want you to think about what is it that you need now. So for today, what is it that we need to focus on? Then make a list of the self-care activities that you're already doing today to support yourself. And then think about some activities that would benefit you if you were to add them to your current self-care plan. And when you're creating your plan, it's just really important to remember that you don't want to add too much at once, because if you start to feel overwhelmed, you will stop doing them, and it will have the opposite effect as to what it's actually supposed to do. So, choose a few things, work on them, and then alter after that. So once you have your what you're doing today and want to keep doing today, what you want to add to what you're doing, then just set some simple goals for yourself. Commit to a period of time. Maybe it's a week, 2 weeks, 1 month that you say, I'm going to commit to doing this every day for this period of time, and make it so that you can be successful. And then at the end of that period, celebrate your successes. So do something to reward yourself for the accomplishments that you've made. Then you want to reassess and say, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing today? Or do I want to change some things up and add some new things in? So that's how you create your plan. Once you have all of that information written down, just to simplify it, you might want to do something simple like this, where you choose 2 or 3 things. So for example, on here, I've chosen 3 things that I'm going to work on over the next 30 days to support my emotional wellness. I'm going to practice gratitude. I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to do 1 random act of kindness every day. For my physical health, I'm going to eat some good, healthy food that energizes my body. I'm going to stay hydrated and drink lots of water. And I'm going to make sure that I get active. So having said that, now I need to drink water. And then for my third, working on my career, I'm going to make sure that I'm taking breaks. I'm going to set boundaries for myself so that I don't overload myself. And I'm going to spend some time really creating a workspace that I love, that's welcoming and makes me feel good when I'm in it. So that may be, what your self-care plan might look like. It could be, you're going to go for your regular physical checkups. It could be that you're going to have a bubble bath, read a book. It can be anything that really helps you to feel well. Another idea for a self-care plan, if you are a feeler and you experience and recognize a lot of emotions that you have, maybe something like this is better. Sorry, excuse me. So, we've talked about overwhelm before. And so if you are feeling overwhelmed, the important thing to know is that it's good to have feelings. We all need to have feelings, right? The important thing is to not let them sit with you for too long. So if you have a feeling that you're overwhelmed, recognize that you're feeling that way. I think that's the most important thing. Sit with it. Maybe recognize if it's impacting your body at all. Be okay with that. And then do an action to move yourself out of it. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm going to recognize that I'm feeling this way. I'm going to step away. I'm going to go for a walk around the block. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make myself an action plan so that I can move myself forward. Another one is maybe I'm feeling inadequate because I have a task to do and I'm, really not sure I have the knowledge and ability to complete it. So recognize that feeling that you are feeling, be okay with it. And then really take some time to remind yourself of all of the strengths that you have and the value that you bring and what you have to offer. And then sit down again and make a plan for how you're going to achieve it. Maybe it's reaching out to somebody for support. So the big thing is that you're recognizing you're okay with it and you're taking action to move yourself forward. So that's just another example of what you can do. So before we move on, I just want to do one more visual with you. So I want you to imagine yourself in your backyard, and there's an empty bucket on your lawn. And when I imagine this, I always think of those beautiful wooden, buckets that you see. So your lawn is nice and green and lush, and in the center you have this basket sitting. And then you go over and you get your garden hose and you turn it on. And the bucket's empty. So you put that garden hose into your bucket. And as that bucket starts to fill, the sun shining on the water and glistening, and it's a warm, beautiful, sunny day, and you're just starting to feel so good. And really what that water represents is the self-care things that you are doing to fill your bucket to be well. So as that bucket continues to fill, you continue to feel better. And then when the water gets to the top and starts to spill over onto the sides, really that's water that's spilling is your capacity to care for others and be there for others. So until that bucket is full, with all of your self-care that you're giving to yourself, it's very difficult to be able to show up for others. So the important thing about doing these self-care things, and like I say, they can be as simple as having a bubble bath or, having a coffee outside on the deck on a beautiful sunny morning. But we have to continue to do things to fill our buckets so that we can show up the best business owner, the best leader, wife, daughter, spouse, to others, to be there for them, because it's really hard to give when our buckets are empty. So those are some ideas for self-care, and how just to assess, how am I doing? Where am I at? Do I need to make some changes, or am I really doing fantastic? The other thing that I just wanted to, or I've included in here, and I put links in the presentation that you'll receive, are just some resources for support in the days ahead. So you may have access to resources through a benefit program or through an employee assistance program that you're already using. But if you don't have any, I just want you to know that there's lots out there, and I've just included a few of them here. The Adam Grant article is included here with the link to the New York Times, but like I say, I've also shared one with Lola. The other one that is really good is Lumino Health. It's a great resource for proactive wellness. It has information on fitness and lifestyle, family health, diet and nutrition, cookbooks, and also lots of great mental health. So that's a really good one to check out. But I would encourage you to resource, check out, because what happens is when we are moving to that yellow and orange stage, again, decision making and memory, concentration are impacted. And it's really difficult to find what you're looking for when you're in that state, especially when you get onto some of these websites, because you kind of get lost in them and you never, you kind of forget what you even started looking for initially. So if you go through the sites, find out what speaks to you, what information is there. Then if you do have a period of time where you're needing help, it's very easy to go directly to that spot. Or you can also, refer family and friends to that as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. And my last bit of advice as you move forward in your self-care journey is really that you take the time to think about your overall wellness and always remember that you are important. Consider the demands or stresses you're facing and how that they're affecting you. Give yourself permission to take a break from your worries and concerns. It's okay. recognize that dedicating even a short time every day to your mental health will reap significant benefits for you. And remember that really self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. So I want to thank you all so very much for joining me today. I would love for you to share some comments about some self-care practices that you have that have supported you, or maybe some self-care habits that you plan to introduce, because I think the sharing of information is always so beneficial to others. So please feel free to use the chat, ask questions, share thoughts. I think we're done a little bit early today, so we may have time to do that.
Thank you
Or
so
Lola, I
much.
may have gone over time, sorry.
Oh, no, not enough. Why is it? Sorry, did you hear me twice or just once?
Sorry, I'll stop sharing now.
Oh, sounds better. I was just gonna say thank you so much for that presentation. It was very informative, and one of the practices I do for my self-care is meditation in the morning and at nighttime, and it helps a lot. But I'm gonna take some new tips and tricks from your presentation because it was very helpful. So thank you very much for volunteering your time. And thank you for everyone who joined during your lunch hour today for our webinar. We have one more webinar that's part of the Connexus series. It is next week, Wednesday, how to grow and scale your business. So if you want to join us for that one as well, that would be wonderful. If there are no questions or chat, I will end the webinar and let you go on with your day. And I think might be none, but thank you so much again, Chantal. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you. Have a
Thursday.
wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.